Hello, King speaking. All throughout history, we have seen the transitions of men throughout dispensational realities. We have seen people who, in the quest for power, have exchanged one thing for the other. We've seen people who, because of power, growth, fame, emancipation, have exchanged something for something which altered the reality of the whole human existence. We've seen people who took deals that affected generations beyond them and shifted paradigms and dispensational realities. But what I'm about to share with you today could just be the greatest, far greatest deal of all times. Nothing has ever been found like this in human history. What I want to share with you right now has been down memory lane, the greatest deal of all times. Let's look at a deal that transcends mortal dynamics, a deal that was done by celestial beings, a deal that determines the course of humanity right till this day, the deal that is responsible for almost every reality you are experiencing right now. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel to get more videos. Let's go. We begin from our progenitors Adam and Eve. Now, Adam and Eve are the beginning of things because they are the first kind of the human race. And when God made them, God gave them everything, and God just told them not to eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. But Eve and the enemy struck a deal because Eve wanted wisdom and power, and she was able to exchange this glorious dimension of God just in exchange for wisdom and power and mental prowess and emancipation. We see how the devil struck a deal with Adam and Eve that altered the genetic reality of the whole human race, that things we were never subject to. We became subject to them because a man and a woman decided to strike a deal with the devil, and this enemy has been in the business of striking deal from one generation to the other. I want to show you something today that will change the course of your understanding all through your life. There was a woman in the book of Judges. Her name is Delilah. We saw how she traded love, and the greatest man that ever lived, called Samson, was sold because of a transaction. This woman struck a deal with the government, the Philistines, and she traded the strongest man that has ever lived for 1,100 pieces of silver. That was a deal that altered the reality of regeneration, and their trajectory was affected by the fact a woman wanted to strike a deal. The deliverance of Israel was affected just because of a woman's greed. Now, greed, selfishness, pride has sponsored the betrayal of many systems. We see throughout history how men have sold their children, their wives, and women have sold their husbands in occultism, in ritualistic tendencies, and in ritual endeavors, just because a man wants to get power in the government, because a woman wants to get to be recognized globally. She's able to sell her own children, the one she gave birth to, just because she wants power, fame, and recognition. We see how greed, fame, pride, and the desire to be known has affected the minds of so many people. Yet we have seen brothers kill brothers, we have seen sisters kill sisters, we have seen biological fathers go against the law of blood and kill their own children just because they struck a deal with the devil. What about a man called Esau? Esau is the father of Edom. Esau literally came home one day so exhausted and hungry that he had to sell his birthright just for a pot of stew. Think about it, just a pot of stew. Now, before you insult and criticize Esau, there are many of us today who have been striking deals. But think about it. Here's the twist. Judas sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Joseph's brother sold him alongside his dream. Delilah sold Samson for 1,100 pieces of silver. Esau gave up his birthright just for a pot of stew. Have you ever thought about the greatest offer of all times? An offer so juicy that no man within the dimensions of mortality is able to resist the ambience of such an offer. I want to show you right now the greatest offer of all times, and it's found in the Holy Book, the Bible. In Matthew chapter 4, from verse 1 right down to verse 5, you find the greatest deal ever made throughout history. I'm talking about a deal that was introduced to Jesus, which was capable of changing the reality of eternity. A deal that the enemy came to strike with his creator, God. In Matthew chapter 4, we see how the devil comes to Jesus and says, Jesus, I will give you all these things if you can just worship me. Imagine all the power, imagine all the control, imagine all the kingdoms that will be at the charge of Jesus. One man was given the opportunity to determine the rulership of the whole earth. Yet, what he did will be a big surprise to you. But the question becomes, how would you give a man all the kingdoms in exchange for something as ordinary as worship? To our greatest amazement, we've seen people who fall for jobs. Some fell for a guy, some fell for a lady, some fell for an increase in salary. But Jesus did not fall for this temptation. Now, what we're talking about here is access to all economies of the earth, access to resources, access to power, access to government, access to leadership, access to people, access to systems was given on a platter to a man, and this man turned it down. Why? I can safely say that this is unarguably the greatest offer of all time. Now, here's a plot twist. When things are offered to you, don't look at what is offered. Look at what is being taken in exchange for what is being offered. We are in a distracted generation. People who don't understand that the enemy never gives a handshake for free. You see, the enemy is a master in the craft of striking deals. In the pre-Adamic era, he used to strike deals, and that is a story for another day. The enemy knows how to strike deal. He's a master at closing deals. And so when it comes to you, he has studied you, he understands your needs, your tendencies, your proclivities before he even gets into your space. He knows you're going to fall for him. So when you don't fall, that becomes a big surprise to him. He tells Jesus, he says, if you are the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. That was the test of power. Next, say, if you are the Son of God, jump down from this temple, for God shall give the angels charge over you to keep you lest you dash your foot to the rock. And the final temptation was to give him all the kingdoms of the earth to see what he would do. But Jesus prioritized pleasing God above satisfying his own hunger. We are in such a time of compromise where people have abandoned the ways of God just because they want to meet ends meet. Many of us have compromised divine standards just because we want to get our needs met. How many of us can really say that we have the capacity to turn down such an offer? Jesus saw the glory ahead of him and was willing to die. Do your convictions have a price tag? Can you be bought with money? Can the enemy give you a juicy offer and you turn down your consecrations? Or will you stay in God no matter the temptation? And guess what? Jesus dies. The enemy said it's a shortcut. Do this right now and avoid death. But Jesus went through the legal route, died, resurrected, and as I speak, he is in charge of the heavens, the earth, and all things beneath the earth. All the enemy wanted to give him was things in the earth. But this Jesus, after going through temptation, took over heaven, took over the earth, and things under the earth. What the enemy wants to give you is legally yours, but he wants you to compromise to get what will be yours in the not distant future. How many temptations have you been able to resist? Can you really resist the greatest offer of all times? Many of us no longer pray because of jobs. We can't spend time with God anymore because we are busy waking up early in the morning and sleeping late at night just to see how to meet your needs. We are occupied by all kinds of temptations. How many of us can really be like Jesus to resist the devil and let him flee from us? This is unarguably the greatest offer of all times. And I want to encourage you right now. If you were Jesus, what would you have done? And what would have been the consequences of your action? Let's talk in the comment section. Please, if you like my videos, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless you.